Job 1, 8 through 22, and it reads, Then the Lord said to Satan, Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, and a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied, Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flock and herds are spread throughout the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, Very well, then, everything he has is in your hands, but on the man himself do not lay a finger. Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. One day, when Job's son and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the older brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, I'm going to pause right there just to explain why we picked Job. Well, for the past month, we've all been listening to sermons over and over again about faith. And we found Job was a perfect example of situations where we had to do with faith. So, with that being said, I'm going to continue on reading and get into the lesson. From there it says, a messenger came to Job and said, The oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabaeans attacked and carried them all. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, The fire of God fell from the sky and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, The Chaldeans formed their 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camel and carried them off. They put the servant to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. Now, have you ever noticed that bad news always hits us all together and it seems almost unbearable? That's what it seems like. But it seems like we can deal with situations a lot better when we have one at a time, because the situations that we have don't seem so testing, because the blessings that God blesses with seem to outweigh it. But as soon as they start to stack up and overlap, it's kind of like a barrier. It shadows you can't really see God so closely. And you start to feel distant from Him. And I started to think about it like, I was thinking about this analogy during church earlier, as if I was a boxer. And if God was my coach in the corner, and I was going toe-to-toe with the devil. Now, first round, I'm getting my hits in. And, I'm just landing blows. And he gets me a couple times, but I'm not fazed because everything that my coach told me is working out. But the second round comes. And when the second round comes, he starts hitting me. I'm starting to feel it. Getting cuts all over my face, my body's getting really bruised. And I landed a couple hits, but I'm starting to doubt everything that he said. I'm starting to feel unsure if I'm going to really win that battle. And I start to think to myself, why would he have me go through this? It tells us in Hebrews 11:1 that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. If we could see God right there, what would we have to get stronger? How would our faith get stronger if we just could see Him right there, walking with us on a daily basis? Sometimes we have to feel distant to really see what our faith is. It was interesting when I was going over this throughout the week, because I was actually talking to a couple of my friends, and they kept telling me how they were going through all these struggles and how they were stacking up on them. And I was like, this is weird because I have a sermon on this on Sunday. So I found this weird because I thought of this whole other analogy. I said, if we had the exact same test from kindergarten to 12th grade, the same test to get to the next level, how would we get any smarter? We wouldn't get stronger if we had the exact same test. We would be smarter. smart on that one subject, but we were not. So God has to test our faith on a regular basis in order for us to get stronger. And the second part, before I pass it to my partner, Dwayne, after he gets these tests, Job finally replies by saying, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." And I found it interesting that he didn't really feel so worried about the fact that he took it away. But see, we get so caught up in thinking that the things that we have are ours, that we think that they're ours like we deserve them. Like, we got them for a reason that we need them. But God gives us everything we need. There's no need to keep thinking that these clothes that we have are really of value. Like the value that we have that we wear represent us. And there's no harm with being represented. Hold up, before I even go there. I was thinking about when I go to a party with my friends. First thing I think about is what I'm going to wear. Now, you know, I'm not going to wear the same thing I wear to the gym or to go shoot around. I usually wear one of my newer clothes, something I think is fresh. Because I want that to represent what new people see me as. When I meet someone new, I want them to see who I am, who I see. And there's no problem with letting your clothes represent who you are. But your actions should represent who you are. The things that you do should represent who you really are. And see, those same clothes that we'll wear at one party, after about a few months, you don't really see them the same. They wither away like everything else of the world. They come and they go. They start and they end. But God is everlasting. Period. I also was thinking about my phone. My phone's been broken for about a week now. My phone's been broken for about a week now. And I started noticing a whole little analogy to this. I don't know how I always think of analogies.
All right.
It seems like the first couple days, it was like I had this withdrawal feeling, like I needed something. But for the past couple days, like I've been getting through my life without it. And we start to realize that these things that we feel like define us don't define us. The only thing that defines us is God. So we need to start realizing that the things that we have are not necessarily that represent us. It's the way that we carry ourselves, and the things that we do. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to